guys, it's me Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're reacting to episode 7 and episode 8, the last 2 episodes of Love in the Big City. Very nervous for the final 2 episodes. I've been dreading watching the final 2 episodes because I've heard so many like it's not bad things, but like heartbreaking things about this final 2 episodes and just how the show ends in general. But I'm just interested to see how it's gonna end. Even though I know that's not gonna be the most happiest ending. But before we start, I do want to say where my Patreon is gonna go for the next 2-ish months. I think it's 2-ish months, but yeah. So after the series, I said I was gonna watch what's it called? It's a GL and Pet Re. Sure, I cannot pronounce it. You know what? I'm gonna butcher it. But it's a new GL. It's gonna be on iQIYI, and I'm gonna be reacting to that, as well as I'm unsure, but Spare Me Your Mercy comes out on the 28th. It is being released on iQIYI, so I'm not really sure if I'm able to post it on YouTube or not. I highly doubt it, but I'm still having hope. There is gonna be some rules and stuff like that for the see reactions, so I can do cut and uncut, but based on my experience with the company that is producing the show, I doubt they're gonna allow me to do reactions, so it'll be on a Patreon exclusive if that does happen. So those are the 2 new series I'll be reacting to. Yeah, so without further ado, let's watch episodes 7 and 8 of Love in the Big City. Mattress could be a symbolism of his dad and his life. On the outside it looks good, but on the inside it's not. The mattress has so much carcinogens, and his life is depressing, fucked up in many ways. Q. Interesting. Because it sounds like Q. And the only person that really knows about the meaning of Kylie Wilde for him specifically is him. But it's not. I don't think it is. Because if it is, that means they can maybe possibly have the relationship and equals happy ending. But I know the series is not a happy ending, so I don't think it's him. Because they try to make us think it is. It's a really good writing format, because we brought up him at the bar before, and oh, he's coming back to Korea, and oh, possibility, and then you happen to see this person with a Kyle Water and his name sounds similar. Amazing misdirect, but it's not 100%. Oh, okay, the callback to the others, your shoes are too small, and so something like that. So he's checking to see if it's if it's too small, it might be him, but it looks like it's too big. You know what's really different? In the episode, is it 6? No, 6 or 5? When we saw these scenes specifically, it was brighter. So we're okay, they're back on track to be a happy relationship going forward. Okay, they had some issues. This trip kind of reset their emotions for each other, and we're gonna see a happy ending. But that's not the case, and we're seeing it now, and it's gloomier and darker. We're seeing we did not see the exact rain part of it. We saw them after rain, they went to they started running and stuff like that. And it was sunny and everything here. But now it's oh, but the reality is that it was just a glimpse, small bit of happiness when they were on a vacation.
그런데 뭔가 내 진짜 소원이 아닌 것 같아 지워버렸는데 아마도 그러는 사이 구멍이 나버린 것이겠지.
That's what he wished for. It's not foreshadowing. At that time, it was foreshadowing. But it's looking back, the reality. That's my reaction to all of Love in the Big City, I guess. And I prepared myself for something more sad than what I saw, but I saw something different. I don't know if this is who I am or it's based on my perspective of things. It felt like a happy ending in many ways. Yes, the love story did not happen the way that we wished it did, but throughout this whole entire series, I didn't see this as a romance series. This is not a series about romance, about love. It's about reality in life. And to me, what I saw is, yes, the person that he loved escaped. They didn't see a future with each other, or he oversaw some stuff in his life and he took advantage of those things, and when it disappeared, he's realizing he fucked up. But at the end of the day, what I saw was a person who was healing. I think there's a lot of things he still needs to work through and go through, but I saw healing, especially after that Bangkok trip. I think he's realizing a lot of things in life, and he's realizing what he wants now. And he doesn't understand love like he says, I think, in the way that he wishes he does, but at the same time it's more of like he's understanding what he wants now, because he knows what he wants in the aspects of love, and he knows that it's like hard to understand what that really means. He's learning and going through life. I think, the idea of maturing, I think that's what I see, and that I think for me that's a positive aspect of it. And then a lot of the things he does, and I apologize because I look at a lot of this stuff, especially stuff that's more realistic, in a more psychological lens, and he has some form of depression, definitely, and it's very clear. It either I don't think it's major depression disorder, or if it's more like more persistent, maybe because it's been going on for so long. But let me look at the length of persistence. It's major. Where is persistent? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he has persistent PDD. I think it's something that we can. He has very clear signs of it, and it's depression is really hard, and I think looking at once again at my psychological lens is like treatment and getting help and going to therapy will never always solve everything, but scientifically we have seen improvements of life and the satisfactory of life, I think, more. So like throughout this series I'm like, oh, like I wish he was able to go see somebody, but I know this is not the point of the story, and it's not the main like thing, like not to fix a person. I think like sometimes being labeled as something, even like when they were talking about the HIV diagnosis that he has, just like being labeled as something really can like ruin a person's life, and it's like treat the person, not the disorder or the illness. So like for him, like this is obviously a really clear sign of like, don't let what you have kind of dictate your life, and it's more of like be who you want to be. And we just watched him struggle through his life, trying to figure out who he is and what he wants in the like kind of realm of love as well. But yeah, I think it's one it's a really beautifully written story, and just because the two characters that we fell in love with and that person is aware that he loves did not end up together, doesn't mean that this is a sad ending, because Young ended the series with a smile. And I've been saying this like for the past 4-ish episodes, but every time he laughs or jokes or is happy, it always looked fake. Like he's pretending to be excited, pretending to be happy, to hide and to lie to himself that he is not depressed. And at the very end, when he was talking, that smile seemed genuine. Yes, there's some pain in the words he's saying and in his eyes, but it felt more genuine to what I've seen in other scenes. And I think the actor did such a great job playing this character of like this sadness and this depression, this kind of pain that he's going through his entire life of not understanding what really love is and learning what it is. looking at Habibi as a character, I'm switching really quick, and I really liked his character because it kind of presented Young to himself of who he is through a different character, and it really reflected off the way they filmed it and directed it, because throughout the past two episodes we see the memories through a curtain, then we saw his reflection, and then we saw kind of like, it's a stretch, but when Gyuho was wearing those blue contacts, if you ever wear like contacts, like the color ones, sometimes if it's like really big or really like poorly made, you can kind of see the color of it a little bit. Usually you don't, but like sometimes the really cheap ones does show up a little bit. I've experienced this before, where you show through the color. So like in many ways you can look at like, okay, where we're looking through a colored lens, and then we've seen other things like the eyeball kind of little character thing that we saw as well. All these things are like looking, and then we saw them through like the glass, and in many ways in the rain as well. It's all like things are being blurred and not fully clear, and at the end it felt more clear in the sense that like his life has been a blur and it has been confusing, but it's slowly trying to clear up, and just slowly becoming like he's becoming aware of like what he wants and what he wishes for in the future. So like that's something that cinematography wise, it was really, really beautifully written to show like, oh, things are clearing up, but like also in other ways, like the whole scenes with where he is like very like kind of foggy. It's like those are a year or so ago since they've broken up. It's little foggy memories of it. It's not as clear anymore, but like it's just like the remembrance of these things and here and there. And also the Bangkok trip the second time around is more of like realizing like, man, I really, really like messed up, that he was supposed to be the love of my life, this person that I was supposed to be with for so long, but I kind of messed it up, like, and these are all these things. But I think at the same time it's a lesson to learn, like, okay, like I wanted that, so now how am I going to move forward knowing that that is what I want. Yeah, I do really enjoy. I think there's certain scenes here and there that like would have made me cry a little bit more if I watched this maybe last year, but like as I've grown and I've learned more, I've learned to dissociate. I don't want to say dissociate because sometimes it has a negative connotation, but like separate myself from like these emotions and understand like, okay, there's another things to look at it, and like how are we looking at this? Okay, we don't just be emotional about certain things, like looking at it in story wise, and once again more in a psychological lens of things. And so this one is a really well example of like when I say like, okay. Another part is like me personally, I think this is also a lens of me, like who Tiffany is that I've never considered love to be such an important part of a person's life, like especially for me. So like being in love with somebody, having somebody be with you for so long, never really, like having a partner specifically, like I think it's the blessing that because I have such loving family members that and friends, that I've never felt the loneliness. Then that's why when I was reflecting myself on him, I'm like, like, because like throughout the series it's jumping different timelines. We constantly see different moments of him in trying to find a lover, find somebody to be with and kind of get attention from. It's really in many ways because he lacked those means and those feelings from his family growing up, and that's why he's kind of looking for as he got older. So I think like for me personally is I don't see that because I've never felt the importance of a partner or felt the importance of being in love. So like, and like the funny joke that I made earlier of like, I've never really considered like how my wedding is going to be and like getting married and stuff like that, because that's something that I've never thought about. I've never focused on love specifically, and this show is heavily focused on love. So for me it's like different, I guess, just like. And then it's fascinating, like I said in earlier episode reaction, that we can all look at things in different perspective, and beauty of an amazing writer is allowing certain people to see things in their own lens, but the story is generalized. Like the story, I'm like messing up what I'm trying to say. The story is specific enough where people who are in this targeted audience can sympathize and be like, this is so real, this is what happens with us, but at the same time generalized enough where people from different groups, different backgrounds, and different identities can see this, like, okay, like there are some relations that I can relate to this. It's not always 100%, but there's some connection I can make and some kind of inferences I can make to kind of connect my struggles with that generalization. Like, once again, like the whole like gay individuals struggling through like getting equity and stuff like that, and we transition to like a woman equity, like what does women struggle with in society as well. If you look at it, if you twist it in certain ways, you're like, oh, like, yeah, I can relate to that, I understand your struggles and I understand your feelings as a woman, female presenting, stuff like that. And they have certain characters in there that also kind of help with that. But yeah, and I've read on Twitter and all things like that, it's a lot of individuals who are identify as gay also talk about how like this show is really realistic and like the struggles that people who are gay have to go through. It's not just rainbows and sparkles, no pun intended, of like that, because a lot of time TV shows present life more simpler and easier and more fantasy-like, because like, you know, it's not just like BLs and stuff like that, but it's also like hetero shows of like life being more rainbows and colors and stuff like that, because who wants to turn on a show and constantly be watching depressing stuff, right? Like, that's, you know, a lot of time TV is created to make us laugh and make us excited, but there's also other shows that are like more depressing, more realistic, more sad, like documentaries and like, you know, shows that are like reflecting on true stories and stuff like that, true crime-esque stuff too as well. And this one's one of them, and we do not get a lot of it. I think there's a debate between like, oh, this is queer media and there's BL. Like, I don't see it that way. I think any BL is queer media, and because it's showing life of a queer person. Okay, just because it's a BL, like I feel like people have like lost the meaning of BL because people were like, oh, you know, yeah, you have to have this and this and this, that's a BL. No. BL are boys love, like it's because of they're two gay bisexual individuals falling in love or representing these characters that are supposed to be gay or bisexual, you know. That's under the term umbrella of queer, you know. So it's frustrating when we're like, huh, this is like Love in a Big City is a queer show that represents queer people, and not like those Thai BL, like the whole like argument between like, imagine people can have this like, you know, strong sexual representation as well as a gay representation. Like, there's so many other shows. Like, I feel like people pick two really cringy made series from Taiwanese or even Japanese BL, and they're like, that's the identity of that. Like, people put, when you think of BL, what do you think of? I think of Together, for example. Together was not a good BL series, but there are so many other ones that represent so many other people and so many things that people strongly connect to. And the whole like argument of like, this represents us, but that doesn't, so obviously this country's shows all suck. Like, that's not, no, we don't do that here. We do not generalize. Please do not generalize. So yeah, but the show is definitely really, really well made, and it's really beautiful, and I really enjoy it. And then the whole thing about like season 2 is I see a lot of people going, oh, okay, we need season 2 where they come back together, because like that was the kind of directions, like he knew that's what he wanted, so like we could see them find a way, a path, and make it romantic and get back together. But I have a thing where it's like, maybe it would be amazing because the writer does such a great job writing the story already, and he can continue writing it to what he thinks is a possible storyline to continue for these, for Young. But I think the problem for me with season 2 is a lot of people have a lot of expectations when it comes to season 2, and if you're not originally thinking about writing season 2, you take into account those people's wants and hopes into your writing, and it's just a bunch of like check marks. Like, okay, you got this and this and this because everybody wanted this and this and this. It just felt like it was not well, like it's not telling a story, it's satisfying people's needs instead. That's what I've seen in a lot of shows that have season 2. For example, I think Tharn Type was one. Okay, Tharn Type is not one of them actually, because the writer already wrote the novel before, so like it kind of did, but at the same time they've added certain things here and there that was really wishy. I can think of a few American shows, but like just like season 2's never really hit for me in any show. So like I don't want, and a lot of time when you have a season 2 that doesn't hit, it puts a sour taste on season 1 as well for a lot of viewers. So I'm like, this is such a great show, like I don't want to ruin it by having a season 2 that is checking off marks that people want. And if they don't check those marks, people gets mad at the director, by the story, and then also once again negatively impacting season 1 as well. It's something that I've seen throughout a lot of like shows in Asian media a lot, because like American media, it's interesting enough, when you write the pilot episode, I think this is my minimum understanding, pilot episode, they're like, okay, I like it, we green lights, and they've written like 4 seasons already or something like that, have ideas of what the next 4 seasons gonna be out, because like, okay, this show's a good show, we like it, so we're gonna do 3 seasons of this, and we'll come back around and see if we want to continue on. Like usually American televisions have multiple seasons already planned before they air it. So it's a difference between, I think, like in how entertainment works in different countries and different cultures, I guess. But yeah, overall, I really love this show. This is a really, really amazing show. But like the thing is, it is not a show that I think I can watch again because the feelings might be different. Which I will be interested in more to see this maybe in the next year or 2 afterwards, and just reflecting on how maybe me as being a different person from now to then, how I see the characters. But it's definitely a show like similar to like I cannot ever watch. I've only watched the show twice. I told something about you. I've only watched it twice. First time when it first aired. Second time, I don't know reason why, but I really wanted to rewatch it. And watch it. And totally different feelings. These time, kind of like more sentimental shows are harder to like rewatch for me personally than like those like cringy like little fluffy love stories. So yeah. But that's pretty much it for my reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on my social media link down below. See you next time. Bye.